The NSA's controversial phone surveillance program could come to a close. Now, this is a program that collects information on millions of U.S. phone calls and even your text messages. According to the Wall Street Journal, the National Security Agency is telling the White House that the logistical and legal burdens of keeping it running are not worth it. Now, you might remember back in 2013, there was this man named Edward Snowden, a whistleblower, who leaked details of the program before fleeing the country. To learn more, we turn to legal and media analyst Lionel. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay, so I have to ask, do you really think, I remember when this program was first brought to light, does this phone surveillance program help keep Americans safer?
Well, if you think surveilling our phone conversations, invading our privacy, basically vacuum cleaning every bit of data that we have, if that keeps me safe, what about safe from a government that does that? Now, my first question, I got to ask you, do you believe this? Do you believe what I'm hearing? The NSA says, you know, this record keeping and the logistics of keeping track of all these people, I don't think this is really worth our time anymore. Are you buying? I mean, does anybody buy this? What if they do this? Let's just double down on the FISA courts, because that's being up. We'll go through that way. Or let's talk maybe through some backdoor encryption exceptions to phones. So we'll get rid of this program as the Freedom Act expires. But do you really think the NSA is going away? I don't.
Well, and that's the question. I mean, we didn't know about this before Edward Snowden. Now we know about it, but you're right. I think it'd be real easy for them, and then we wouldn't know about it again until either you had another whistleblower,
right,
or it was justified in a situation that they might be able to stop terrorism. That being said, the NSA does believe that those issues kind of outweigh the intelligence benefit. So is it unrealistic? Should we as Americans actually think that it's going to go away? And should there actually be a legal reason for, is there a legal reason for them to be able to listen to certain people's conversations?
Oh, certainly. I mean, there is the idea of our living in a society where intelligence or law enforcement cannot listen to it, because that's what the FISA courts were about.
Right.
Where you can go to yes, provide some type of not rigorous probable cause the same way for a search warrant, but of course. But Scottie, what they were doing was they were doing this, basically this vacuum cleaner. Every bit of data was thrown into these massive data collection. You've seen them in Utah or wherever, these massive file storages, for lack of a better word, and then metadata can later be pulled out. That's one thing. But let me go back to what I'm saying. The government is now going to be able to, not under this, go to phone carriers and go to people and say, let's work on the encryption data. Let's work on the backdoor availability. Let's work on that, which you're not going to hear of. Remember, nothing ever happened with FISA after the whole Carter Page business and Fusion GPS. That's still running. So that concerns me more than this. But I'm sorry to laugh at this, but the idea that the NSA, no such agency, which is designed as part of an intel group to basically, by virtue of what it does, through deception and cloak and dagger and snooping around, which is what it does, it's going to announce to everyone that we're not going to be doing this. Am I truly to believe that I can speak freer now, that I can say more, thinking that the NSA or the government or some ancillary group is not going to be grabbing the same data under another avenue, another means, irrespective of Snowden? I'm not buying it.
Well, here's the thing. I'm reminded of one of the reasons why the U.S. is able to keep Huawei out of the United States. It's saying, hey, we don't want the Chinese government listening in on our citizens. But is there any difference? I mean, if a government, I guess it's different if it's your own government listening in on your conversations illegally, then they can get upset about that. You know, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. And I think you're right. Will we actually know whether or not they are listening in? Time will tell, or just wait for the reality show or the book to come out.
Indeed.
Exactly. Thanks for joining us, Lionel.
Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out our channel. We hope you enjoyed the video. We have tons of content for you just like this. For more of RT America's one-of-a-kind news and analysis, be sure to subscribe and never stop questioning more.